We're live on Facebook.
Oh.
I know. So we're not on the radio yet, but we are live on Facebook. Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Woot, woot. It's Tuesday. It's our favorite day of the week because we get to do this. Oh, and you can hear like this. That's the background music
Oh yeah, I can hear
that
it.
they hear on the radio. That they can't hear on Facebook. They just think I dance.
You don't need music to dance.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 425 Show, your place to be for all things real estate and lifestyle related here on the East Side. I'm your host, Nicole Mangina with Windermere Real Estate. Because buying and selling homes is about so much more than bedrooms and baths. It's about the people, the businesses, and the events that make this a great place to live. And each week, we try to introduce you to somebody new. So whether you're new to the area or just looking for something new, we've got you covered. It's the first Tuesday of February. I don't know about you guys. I actually had a great January, but there were so many posts on social media over the weekend about January was practice. It didn't count. February is like the actual first month of the year. I don't know where you fall on the continuum of how your January was, but what I can tell you is February is when things get rolling. In the real estate market, it is absolutely when things take off. I had some buyers and multiple offers over the weekend, kind of a far out areas. I was surprised. But what that tells me is there's lots of buyers out there and the home was really spectacularly presented. So if you put it on the market correctly, you can do well. So if you've got real estate on the brain, I invite you to reach out. You can always find me via email, nicole@nicolemangina.com. The other thing that February is good for is recommitting to your New Year's resolutions. I did a little research this morning. 92% of New Year's resolutions don't make it past January. Actually, they don't make it past January 12th, was the article that I read. So February, chances are, and over 50% of resolutions involve health and eating better. So our guests today are perfectly timed. We have Liz and David with Plant Life Meals joining us today. How are you?
Good.
Amazing.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. You are home-cooked, freshly made vegan meals prepared and delivered to your doorstep, right?
That's right.
That's us. That's a great way to summarize it.
Yeah. Well, good.
We're gonna steal that.
By all means do. Which I think is great because, you know, we were talking about this before the show, we all have our reasons why it's, you know, difficult to make changes with our diet. It's, you know, maybe a new recipe. We're not used to doing things. I was sharing, you know, my husband and our two boys. Things always taste better when somebody other than our mom makes it. So I'm excited about you guys because I think maybe I can get a little more vegetables going with the boys and maybe they'll think it's not gross because mom
That's
didn't
right.
make it.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about what you've got going on and kind of how you got into this.
Yeah. So I guess David here. I'll start. On a personal level, so for some context, I'm 36 years old, and I found that I couldn't sit through a movie without some sort of pain coming up,
Really?
or a flight without having to adjust like 5 or 6 different
His
times.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Did
just-
you have an injury growing up or?
Little injuries, just as a part of life, I suppose. It's not like I played
But
the
nothing
NFL
major
or,
that would have indicated that.
No, they were just
Interesting.
little tweaks, little things that kept happening that were, you know, that would really bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to learn more about that.
Mhm.
And the more we learned about inflammation, the more we could kind
Yeah,
of connect the dots.
Huge.
Right. And so for, you know, that led to some other discoveries, and we just wanted to test, well, what is causing inflammation?
Mhm.
What is actually causing this? And it came down to 2 food groups, essentially,
Mhm.
right? And it was like, oh, well, dang it, I guess we have to go plant-based, right? It just so happened to fall in that category.
Sure.
So the intention initially wasn't we didn't set out to become vegan.
Mm-hmm.
It was better,
Right.
right? And what modalities could we introduce that we could manage,
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't take us out of our social circles so much and
Right.
isolate us, right?
Right.
We're not eating sticks and rocks in the woods.
Yeah.
And for Liz, it was something very similar right around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been vegetarian for a few years before that.
Mhm.
I lived with a friend who was vegan, and I was definitely influenced by her. And
Sure.
And she did it because she was really passionate about animals, and you know, she's like, if I love animals, why am I eating them? So I'd originally gone vegetarian, but I was still eating cheese and dairy.
Sure.
And then it felt like all of a sudden, but I think it was a slow progression. My skin started getting really bad every time I'd eat, cheese, pizza, all the good stuff.
Right.
My face would just freak out with, blemishes all over. And I kind of battled some acne in early adulthood, but it was to a level that I'd never experienced before. I didn't want to leave my apartment. I was really ashamed of how it looked. So I started going to get facials because I thought, okay, let's take care of this. And my esthetician recommended, why don't you try giving up your dairy? Because you're already not eating meat, but as David mentioned, dairy is a huge source of inflammation. So let's give that a try and, let's see what happens. Like David said, we're big testers. So I did that, and it was like immediate.
Really?
I could tell my
You
face
just
started.
knew.
It started, becoming less inflamed, and within a couple of weeks, like it was night and day. And I go back, and she's like, "Okay, like what did you do?" And I just
By the way, your
listened
skin
to
is
you.
flawless right now.
Oh,
I don't know
thank
if you
you.
can tell on the Facebook Live, but you have amazing skin.
It's plant based. Thank you.
Yes.
That's very kind of you. But I didn't feel confident in my skin before, and yeah, she was like, "I told you," she never seen such progress in such a short period of time, and so yeah, I was kind of hooked from there. So, and I felt less, inflamed in my body overall. So we just were on this high of feeling really good, and we thought, wow, this plant-based diet is really, changing our lives. And so we were both just really excited about it. You kind of have to learn to be plant-based, you kind of experiment with different types of recipes. So I started blogging about it and sharing recipes and things that I was learning because I was just so excited about what it was doing for us that I felt like I couldn't keep this information for myself. I had to share it with friends, family, and whoever wanted to listen about it.
Sure.
So yeah, I started a blog, and then from a blog, put recipes into like a short ebook. So that, and kind of a quick starter for anybody who wants to go plant-based. Like, here's this quick little, like, less than 20 pages, like, very low barrier to entry, because I was getting a lot of feedback from people like, gosh, there's all these really great cookbooks out there, but they're so intimidating. They're 500 pages. Where do I start? I don't know if you've ever,
Yes. Well, and plant-based is interesting, because I'm vegetarian. We were
Yeah.
talking about that, but my husband and our boys eat meat. What I have found is vegetarian cook, it's not hard, but you have to develop different go-tos.
Right.
But some of the, especially vegan cookbooks, if you're not careful, some of them are very labor intensive, right? You're going to soak this and do, that's like, to me, that's Sunday cooking. That's not Monday through Friday. We have 8 practices a day cooking.
Yeah.
It can be that. It can be easy, but
Yeah.
vegan cooking can be really easy, and you can develop your own go-tos.
Yeah.
But it helps to have some guidance to know where to look, especially if that's new for you.
Totally.
Because I do think it's easy to get overwhelmed with some of the things out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at them as levers too. It's interesting once you realize, like, oh, this made me feel so much better.
Right.
Now I have agency.
Yes.
Right? I have control and these outcomes, these little outcomes throughout my day. And it just so happened to be categorized as vegan.
Yes.
Right? It wasn't, it's like, call it what you want, but I feel better.
And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
For sure. I was talking to a girlfriend over the holidays, and she had given up basically grains and sugar, and she was just blown away because she was having a lot of pain in her hands and feet. And she said it's all gone.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The difference that your diet can make.
Yeah. I mean, it's inflammation across the board, right? Like in the brain, like how much, depression and anxiety are tied to these things.
Right.
Right? And so it's a holistic ripple effect when you start to slow down and vet, right? What goes in, good things go in, good things come out.
Yes.
And we all know that, but it's the social aspect. It's the, what does my wife or husband eat then if they're not interested?
Right.
How do I get my kids on board? How do I socialize this with my friends?
Right.
And so we're trying to make it to where you don't even have to think about it. The food doesn't look any different, perhaps, than what you normally
I know.
eat. And so just trying to give time back.
Yes.
Trying to make it a little bit more programmatic so you can count on it to get you to where you want to go.
Mhm.
So you don't have to think about it so much.
Right.
These are the things we got really excited about that we could bring to the table and say,
Yes.
well, just let us do it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've got some great things on your menu. If you guys are just tuning in, we've got Liz and David with Plant Life Meals on the show today. They deliver home-cooked, amazing vegan meals to your doorstep. So if you're, getting back on board with your New Year's resolution you set a couple weeks ago, this might be a good way to do it. If people wanted to find you, go check out things and order some food, how do they do that? What is the best way to connect with you?
Best way is plantlifemeals.com.
Okay.
And we're also on every social platform at Plant Life Meals.
Yes, I know. Go under their Instagram feed, and that will convert you for sure. And
Yeah.
again, there's no judgment. This is not about converting you to anything. But a lot of people, again, we were chatting about this, want to eat cleaner and maybe cut out meat a couple times a week,
Right.
just to see how that feels for your body,
Right.
and up the vegetable count.
That's
So
right.
this is
That's
a great
right.
way to do it.
Our most popular meal is lasagna,
Is it? That doesn't surprise me.
right? And
Who
so
doesn't love lasagna?
we're not taking things away. We're just
Mhm.
condensing things down to its truest form and taking out the
Sure.
middleman and giving you that protein that protein you would have eaten got,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
We're just removing all of that.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that. What are some of your most popular items?
Yeah, definitely the lasagna. I
Mhm.
mean, it's super hearty. It's super rich and creamy. So
Yeah.
you would never know that it's plant based. We rotate our menu items, so it's not always the same menu.
Sure.
But some of our ones from the past that were really popular was also a pasta, super creamy.
Mhm.
It's a coconut milk based.
Ooh, yum.
I know, which I necessarily wouldn't think with pasta, but paired with lemon juice, it kind of makes
Really?
it like this bright and creamy pasta. So people loved that one.
Great.
Breakfast items, the stuff that we brought for you guys
Mhm.
too. It's, they have chocolate chips and they're nearly 4 grams of protein per bite.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's
Love
all
this.
plant based. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you both into cooking growing up? Is this something that you've always been into, or no?
No.
Well,
Not
yeah.
for me.
Not for him. My mom is like the best cook. Like no matter what she makes, it comes out amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, growing up, I've eating traditional Mexican food.
Sure.
Like food has just always been like a staple in
Big
our
part of
life.
life. Yeah.
But she's one of those cooks, like she doesn't measure anything. It's like, oh, half a handful of this. And, I actually bought her a book so that she could start writing down recipes.
I
don't
love
think
those
she's done
people,
that.
but
Yeah.
mine doesn't come out like
Yes.
that. When I'm like a little this,
I'm like, I
a
How
little
much
that.
is a pinch?
I know.
Yes.
Right?
I'm like, I know our hands are similar in size, but
It's a little
that's
different.
not going to always be the same. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so I think I didn't necessarily grow up cooking, but I was very much like in the process. It would help
Sure.
her make beans and stuff, like making sure they were soaking
Mm-hmm.
properly. And then I didn't really get into cooking until after I moved out of the house, because then
Yeah.
she wasn't cooking for me anymore. So I
Right.
had to fend for myself.
Darn it.
Yes. But yeah, I think going vegan really got me invested into cooking because I was just excited to learn all
Yeah.
this stuff and to test it and, have David try it and be like, oh, how do you like this? Oh, that was not so good. And so, okay, how can I make it better the
Yeah.
next time? So,
That's great. I
Yeah.
love it, the whole experimenting part.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you also deliver meals to some local businesses and gyms as well, correct?
yeah.
That people can go by and pick them up.
Yep.
What are some of those places if they wanted to swing by and just try it out, see what it's all about?
Yeah, so we've got in Redmond, we've got Bar Method Redmond.
Okay.
So they have a Sunday pickup, and then down in Issaquah at 9 Round Kickboxing Gym,
Okay.
we have a Monday pickup there.
Nice.
But yeah, like I said, we post all that information like on our Instagram and on our website. We're continuing to partnering with other
Mhm.
businesses, so yeah, we're really excited to work with these places because we like to work with people who have similar goals, similar missions.
Sure.
And yeah, everyone's just kind of excited to be their best self, and
Mm-hmm.
plant-based is one way to do that.
Perfect. And when I was on your website, you have a couple different options if people wanted to have food delivered,
Yeah.
correct? In terms of how much they wanted or how many different things.
Yeah.
What are some of the setups that you have if somebody's out there thinking, today's the day, I gotta get this thing figured out?
Well, the cool thing, each of our customers kind of approach it differently. Like we
Mhm.
have one customer who buys for every meal. They got their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner for the whole family.
Oh, wow.
So if
Love
you
it.
don't want to make anything, if you're really busy and you want to make sure that you and your family have
Mhm.
meals on
Sure.
hand, that's one way to do it. We also have other folks who they don't have good access to good food at their work.
Oh,
So
sure.
they buy for their lunches and they take care of their breakfast and dinner on their own.
Right.
So it's super flexible. You know, we try to make it really easy.
Mhm.
If you're out of town, you can skip, and it's no stress. Our customers text us all the time and let us know what's going on. So we try to, make it as
That's
easy,
nice that you
easy
work
for
with people.
them.
Yeah.
And they
Mhm.
have great ideas too. Like
It's set up like Netflix a little bit is how
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
describe it.
Love it.
Right?
Okay.
You can pause, cancel. There's no long-term commitment.
Sure.
It's a 5-meal minimum. You pick your 5 favorite meals.
Okay.
You see if you love it. If you don't love it, you stop.
Uh-huh.
Right? You wait for better meals to come out, perhaps.
Sure.
If you want to opt in, you're like, let's do this. We have a 5-meal minimum plan, and then we have a 10-meal minimum plan.
Okay.
And there's obviously price breaks the more that you
Sure.
go. All delivery, all taxes, everything is rolled in,
Mhm.
so you don't have to worry about it.
Great.
We had a customer this morning who's going out of town for a few weeks. He sent us a text directly, and we paused him.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Right?
Perfect.
So you don't
See,
have to
I love
worry
that. It's
about
just
any of
easy.
that.
It's no
Yeah.
stress.
yeah.
Removing the friction, making it as easy as possible, those barriers of entry,
Yes.
you know?
One of
Yeah.
our earlier customers, she actually moved out of state because she travels a lot for work.
Mm-hmm.
And she just came back. She said, I can't wait to come back and I can, resubscribe. And so she just started back on as
Mhm.
well. So
Great.
yeah, there's no, no fuss with it.
I love it. I love that you mentioned the idea of getting lunches delivered. Usually it's all about dinner, and I think that's great,
Yeah.
trying to figure that out. But lunch for me is the hardest thing, hands
Yeah.
down, to figure out because I never take it. I can make the kids lunch, and then I'm trying to just get out the door.
Exactly.
And then I just go until I'm kind of in that not good hungry place.
Mhm. Yep.
That's where those little
And
empty
then
bites
there's usually
come
like
in.
a donut or an M&M.
Yeah, that's when
happens.
things get dark.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
all,
It's
it's,
easy.
it's not even downhill, it's just off a cliff.
It's good.
Hey, we all have those moments.
Exactly. But I think that whole lunch thing, I mean, the reality is we need to be eating lunch.
Mhm.
Life is just better when
Yeah.
you eat lunch. I find when I do it, I'm always amazed. I'm just in a better place. But I probably get another 3 hours worth of productivity out of my
Yeah,
day if I
yeah.
eat lunch because I'm not then spiraling
That's right.
with all these other things. So even if somebody just got lunches delivered, I think that's such a great idea and could
Yeah.
make a huge difference.
Yep.
Um,
We're not
I know.
anti-carb. We're not, not to go down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But what's
Sure.
interesting is that these plant-based complex carbohydrates
Mhm.
burn so much faster, so you're
Sure.
hungrier more often.
Yeah, I
Right?
noticed that with the cleaner I eat, the more I eat, which
Yeah.
actually serves me well because I really like to eat.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Is like,
The more I can eat, the
yeah,
happier I am.
right. We should enjoy that and not feel guilty about
Mhm.
how am I going to burn this off.
Yes.
Your digestive system will do that naturally, and it doesn't align well with non-plant-based, and even often just simple carbs in general.
Right.
Right? But we just want to make it fun. We're not interested in cutting things out.
Sure.
We don't necessarily believe that that's how the body's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to introduce fun things that you don't have to count,
Right.
right? I mean, apps are cool for all of that, and goals are awesome if you're looking to get on stage and if you're looking to do all that, that's
Yeah.
great. But we want people to be active, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to worry so much about shaming themselves for eating lasagna or a pasta. The complex carbs in a plant-based meal
Mm-hmm.
love your body, and your body loves it.
Yeah. By
Right?
the way, you need that. Yeah, the simple carbs, you're like straight up, straight down,
That's
and
right.
done for the day.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No. And it is interesting to me, when you eat kind of the cleaner foods, it makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
For sure. You can eat more, which you eat more or
Mhm.
not. But I think especially as you get into this, I was talking with one of my girlfriends about this the other day. All of those apps, the Apple Watch, I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that information. I've been, I'm 46. I've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I know if I've had too much to eat or
Right.
not moved enough.
You don't need a watch to tell you that.
No, I should, and I don't even need a scale. Like, I know
Yeah.
how my stuff fits.
Yeah.
And we were laughing. I said the scale just backfires either way, because either like I weigh in well, and then I eat more because I had a good
Right.
weigh-in, so I feel like there's
Sure.
free calories in there, or I don't weigh in well, and then I'm disappointed.
Right, and where do we get those numbers too?
I
Right,
know.
we measure ourselves against these arbitrary numbers that we were probably given a long time ago,
Right. Yeah.
And so it's just constantly hard to battle what we think we
Yeah.
know versus just listening to how we feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's a
Yeah.
lot to be said for if you just eat clean, the rest kind of takes care of
It'll
itself.
be okay. Yeah,
And it's
it all works out.
easier too. Like I think we're talking about recipes and such, but if you're eating like a whole foods plant-based diet,
Mhm.
I mean, that's as simple as it gets in terms of preparation and you know, creating your meals. So
It actually is. Like you said, it's once you get used to it, it's infinitely easier than a lot of the other options
Yeah.
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
You just kind of develop a new repertoire. And
Yeah.
things like that.
Exactly.
And I tell people to test the stuff. I'm like, pick your favorite ice cream and then go pick a dairy ice cream
Yeah.
and just test it and tell
Right.
me which one you like.
Yeah.
Right?
There you
And
go.
and I keep trying to push this test because I think people will just naturally feel, you know, it's not minimizing sugar, but they're taking the dairy out of it,
Uh-huh.
and they'll be able to pinpoint, okay, there's one thing that I keep putting inside my body that is wrecking me.
For sure.
You know, and it's a hard thing to break away from because we love ice cream and we love those things,
Mhm.
but there are alternatives that big companies are getting behind and pushing.
Right.
So there's enough options now to not have to worry about,
Yeah.
you know, what about my ice cream? It's like, it's there and it's probably better.
Exactly. And, you know, I think it's interesting to even experiment when you eat really clean. Inevitably, at least for me, something will happen and I'll not eat clean. But not just the impact, but the instant impact. The
Yeah.
second I eat something, like how crummy it makes you feel.
Yeah.
And realize like that's actually how crummy you felt all along before. You were just kind of
It was your
numb to
baseline.
it. And that was, yes, exactly. You didn't know any better, but then once your body knows better, and then you go eat like that dairy ice cream or something like that, it's really
Yeah.
kind of gross.
Yeah, you can feel
And I used to
it.
love ice cream as a kid. No,
Yeah.
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 So
Well, hey, you gotta try the
There's
vegan
some good
ones.
vegan stuff
Oh
out
my
there.
goodness.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
I
right.
know. In fact, we're going to Disneyland in a couple weeks, and they have that salt and straw
Mm.
Oh
ice
yeah.
cream. They have awesome vegan ice
Nice.
cream.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
I'm fired up about that.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So, what are some of the other things that you have found with being vegan that have really supported you? You with your pain and inflammation, you with your skin, and I just think it's great that you're sharing this message with everybody.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's interesting. Some of these side effects, or I guess byproducts, are, you know, they're really personal, right?
Right.
Like you'll notice that your sleep is a little bit deeper.
For
For me,
sure.
it's not. I feel really tired. Long night, but for the most part, you notice that you don't feel a lag
Mm-hmm.
in an 8-hour day. It doesn't
Right.
feel like an 8-hour day.
Sure.
You have this energy that's just, it's hard to describe,
Mhm.
right?
I think that's great.
And we try to be mindful about describing it because we don't want to push this stuff on people.
Right. And I love that about you guys. You are so just, this is what we've got.
Mhm.
Give it a try.
Yeah,
Go all in or just a little bit.
right.
And you're willing to meet people where they're at.
That's
I think
it.
that's great.
Yeah, just to get them encouraged.
Mhm.
Sleep has been a big thing. I think just being aware of other things. It's
Mhm.
interesting when you start with something like this that's so glaring, like, okay, we're going to go vegan.
Sure.
Well, what does that mean? And you start to learn about these byproducts
Mhm.
that you actually have a hand in,
Right.
right? We're saving a ton of water. We didn't know that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right?
Isn't
You're
that
saving all
amazing?
these
Right.
animals' lives. So if you care about that, we didn't know how many,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so there's all these drivers now that we can get excited about and rally
Sure.
around and just
Yeah.
tell those stories.
That's
But-
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've heard like from some customers that they feel like when they work out, they feel like their performance is better. So we've heard some tidbits about, you know, from the people who we're
Mhm.
connected to now who are trying this out, that it's just this overall feeling of feeling better.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to necessarily put numbers or anything to it, but just that's kind of the message I think we're trying to share is we just want people to feel better, whether it be mentally, physically, from all aspects of health. So
Sure.
I think that's what we're really hearing and also, you know, personally
Yeah.
experiencing.
Exactly. And I think it's funny, once you start paying attention, you get your thing. Like for me, it's my knees. I know when I eat really crummy and I do lunges in the gym, my knees hurt really, really
You can
bad.
feel it.
Yeah, and it has nothing, like my weight doesn't have to change.
Right.
But when I eat crummy, I can feel it. in
And
my
you
knees.
don't have tendonitis.
No.
Right? These things
But
are
as soon
byproducts
as I-
of inflammation.
Yeah, as soon as I change my diet, I'm like, oh, look, I can do lunges
Yeah.
like all day long. And life is good.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
you
Yes.
kind of find your thing. So I think this is great. Do you guys, you deliver on the east side? What's your delivery radius?
Yeah. Yeah, east side we go all the way up to Woodinville.
Okay.
As north as Woodinville. Bothell will go,
Uh-huh.
through Lake City down
Sure.
into Capitol Hill. We don't go into downtown Seattle or West Seattle.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out what business we should partner with that aligns with us for a drop off.
Oh, sure.
So
that's
we're
perfect.
on the hunt for one right now.
Okay.
But
somebody out there.
That's right. That's right.
Just a little plug.
Yes,
Yes.
we're very good product marketers,
Okay,
and so
you guys are fantastic marketers.
we do a good job of driving business to other local businesses
Mm-hmm.
that pair well with us.
Love it.
So we go all the way down to South Bellevue. We're exploring a Renton partnership right
Sure. Okay.
now, but we're willing to go primarily anywhere, all the way down to Renton and all the way north to Woodinville and parts of Seattle. Major
Perfect.
parts of Seattle,
All
yeah.
right.
Cool.
So that's so cool. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
if you, again, it's plantlifemeals.com.
Yep.
Go check them out if you want to try just some new vegan options. And vegan's not scary. It's not weird. It's actually really, really good. Whether you want to go all in or just try some things, what a better way than to just have it delivered to your door, right?
right.
There's no excuses.
We'll even cook it for you.
Oh, love you guys.
That's right.
See, it's getting better and better. Maybe somebody in your family you want to try and get to eat a little healthier. That's me with the boys. So they're getting some fun surprises this week for sure in their dinners. I won't tell them what it is till after they eat it.
That's right.
They're actually pretty adventurous, but it'll definitely go better because I didn't make it.
Kale,
I know.
come on.
Exactly. But plantlifemeals.com, follow them on social media. You will learn and be inspired just by that. And I so appreciate you guys being here today. Anything else people should know before we sign off today? Just go check it out.
Just
and
test it.
yeah.
Try it, and there's no.
I love that you make it so easy
Yeah, it's
for
just
people to
test
just
it.
try it.
Call us out on our BS. Test it.
Okay.
I want people to show up and either fall in love with it or just know that in that moment that's not for them.
Yeah, and not exactly. Sometimes it is, sometimes it
That's
isn't.
right.
But I'm thinking it probably is more than it isn't.
Yeah.
And more people should
Hoping
try it.
so.
Exactly. Thanks for being here today, you guys. I'm Nicole Mangina with Windermere Real Estate. PlantLifeMeals.com. We'll have everything on the website after the show, NicoleMangina.com/podcast. Bye.
You're like so